Outside the cafe, I found myself on a bustling street lined with brick buildings.
Up ahead, you can see the Looking Glass shopping district.
Looks busy.
Does it? I imagine it's pretty empty compared to the big city. But then again, this is the main street, so it fares pretty well. Our town's a fairly famous tourist trap after all.
Oh, I see.
We may be a tiny rural town in the mountains, but at this elevation our summers aren't too hot. And we're close to the city, so a lot of folks have summer homes near the lake.
There's a lake?
Yes, I'll take you there later.
Thank you! I guess we're going on an impromptu... not date, but thing. Walk around town with Gretel. Gretel started walking and I followed along behind him. You know, for a rural town, this place looks pretty classy. It feels sort of... what's the word? Old-timey?
Retro?
Sore.
I agree. We have a lot of museums and historical buildings in these parts, plus cafes and gift shops for the tourists.
And the cafes have such a nice aesthetic.
But of course, once you move away from the main street, you'll start seeing fields and mountains. Fresh and exciting for visitors, but for the people who actually live here, the novelty wore off a long time ago. Oh, I can't believe I have to waste my day off doing tourist crap.
He let out a dramatic sigh, then looked over at a store with a banner outside that read, Lavender Soft Serve. Ooh, tempted.
Oh, and that's the place that sells our famous lavender soft serve ice cream.
I'd buy us some, but I didn't bring my wallet.
That's alright. I'll submit an itemized invoice later.
He says, grinning ear to ear. Meh. Next, we turned off the main street onto a side road.
See? As soon as we leave the shopping area, everything gets rural real quick. That's the countryside for you, am I right?
As he ate his pale purple soft serve, he gleefully led me around the Looking Glass tourist locations. Yeah, I guess so. Incidentally, these ice cream cones, $4 each. I mean, they are lavender. Anything noteworthy around here?
Not really.
Oh, I see. What about this place? The sign says the Bamboo House. Yeah, so that existed in this world as well, eh? I came to a stop in front of a large concrete building.
Oh. Yeah, I think that's an orphanage.
Wow, really?
Yes, really. Now let's move along, please.
Evidently he wasn't interested in it because he started walking faster. Hey, slow down a sec! She was drawn to it, but he's like, nope. Of course, Gretel wouldn't remember the orphanage. Whoa, that mansion is huge! I stood at the fancy front gates and gawked with my mouth agape.
Indeed it is. It's also your house.
What? This decadent mansion is my house?
You tell me.
He pointed to the nameplate, which read Arisu. You guys said I was rich, but I didn't know I was this rich. It didn't feel real at all. Just wait till you meet your butler. Was this really my house? So am I allowed to just waltz in there, or what?
Probably. It's your house, with or without your memories.
You're right. Okay then, I'm just gonna march right in. But right when I pushed open the gates, a dark-haired man popped out of the house. Hello!
Well, if it isn't our pulpit.
Who's that? The man clearly seemed to recognize me, but I didn't remember him at all. Gretel squinted at him across the yard.
As I recall, that's the servant with the funny accent. What was his name again? I remember it was one of those dumb foreign names. K something. Caden?
Caden? Got it! Hey, Caden! Poor Kaguya. I was like, eh?
Who?
Apparently I wasn't Caden. Welp. You see, what happened is... I'll tell you over a cup of tea. Yes, it's a very nice house. Very, very schwank. It's not ours, but it is in this world.
Well, have you remembered anything?
No, not at all. He slumped his shoulders in disappointment.
Right. Well, I reckon it's not as simple as it seems.
Incidentally, this smiling young man was not Caden, but Kaguya. Apparently, he was my family servant. After we explained the situation, he led us inside the house. I'm sorry, Kaguya.
No, nothing you need to be apologizing for. But I've got to ask, really. How on earth did my puppet get amnesia?
Well, you tell me, you're the expert. He folded his arms and murmured to himself.
I wish we knew, but we don't. I knew we shouldn't have married you off to Mr. Bankrupt's useless son.
It took a while for me to realize that he was talking about Cinderella. Cinderella's not useless, if that's what you're saying. I stood up for him without hesitation. I don't remember anything about him, but I can tell he's a responsible, hard-working guy. Granted, maybe he wasn't always such a person, but he certainly was now.
Puppet? I reckon you're right. Otherwise you wouldn't have fallen for him, would you?
I'm, pleased that Gretel was actually happy she stood up for his brother. Good on you, Gretel. I would assume not.
Gee, how convincing.
I laughed awkwardly, then changed the subject. Anyway, this is such a nice house. It's hard to believe I ever lived here. The mansion was so luxuriously furnished it felt more like a castle. It was so fanciful, in fact, it looked a bit out of place out here in the sticks. There's even a ballroom for dancing. As I said it, something suddenly occurred to me. Oh.
What is it? Remembered something?
Kaguya, you're the only person who lives here, right? Where's the rest of my family? He shifted awkwardly. What?
Well, your parents don't come round much.
Why's that?
They're hunters, so they're busy with work. They have their own house elsewhere.
Hunters? Confused, I mimed a gun with my hand and pretended to fire.
Oh, but your big brother's local if you wanted to meet with him.
I have a brother? Heck yeah, I want to see him! Apparently, Yurika Arisa had a brother! We never met him in this world before.
Well then, let's go track him down.
Yeah!
What? Seriously?
Seriously. Follow me, Gretel. I like that Snow White is just not involved with this at all. He's like, nope, I'm reading. Goodbye, everybody. And so there we were.
Puppet! This is the hospital where all the hunters work.
It's very quiet.
Well, it's a hospital, isn't it?
When he said hunters, I was expecting a cottage in the woods, but apparently it wasn't quite that straightforward.
Right then. I'll go ask if your brother's here.
Please do. After he was gone, I could feel a gaze boring into me from behind. What is it, Gretel? Gretel pouted his lips at me.
What am I even doing here? I don't see the point in staying if you're just gonna have your servant show you around everywhere. But if I leave her, then she'll be all alone with him. I don't trust that limey loser one bit. Not that I owe Cinderella anything, but if he doesn't marry her, then she won't be my sister, and I can't have that.
Oh my god, Gretel. Freaking... Fine. Fine, moving on. Hello? Earth to Gretel! When I called out to him, he looked up with a smug smile.
Looks like I have no choice. I'll consider it an investment in my future. For now, I'll tolerate your fickle whims. I hope you appreciate your sweet baby brother.
Of course I do! Thanks, Gretel! I grinned at him, all too easily. Just then, Kaguya returned.
Oi, Poppet!
How'd it go?
Not well. They said your brother's not in today, so he's not here.
Oh, I see. Darn. Oh well.
Let's move on, shall we?
Yeah. Do we know where he lives? Our next stop? So this is the forest.
Rot you are. Nothing much of note out here. Let's hurry on to the lake.
Thank goodness we're not going to the birdcage cottage, she says. Too late. Ah, I've spoken into existence. As we traveled through the forest, we came upon a tiny house in the middle of nowhere. Oh wow! There's a house out here!
More like a rundown shack. You can say that again.
The building was in bad shape, with cracks in the walls and overgrown ivy crawling all over it. No signs of any occupants.
I know there are a lot of summer homes around here. Think this is one of them? If it was, I reckon they'd put a bit more effort into the upkeep, surely. I can totally picture some teenage thugs hanging out here. I know what you mean. Good thing we don't have to live in a place like this. I love being rich. You lot aren't rich. We will be once they get married. Then I'll have a sister, and all of my problems will be solved. And you'll have me as well. Ew. Hard pass.
And so Kaguya and Gretel continued their lively conversation as we traveled deeper into the woods. Was not expecting Kaguya and Gretel hanging out, but I'm not opposed to it. Then at last we arrived at the lake. Sticky! The lake was crystal clear, reflecting the bright blue sky above. Oh, I love this place! It's so quiet and beautiful, and the air is so crisp and clean. After a few lungfuls of fresh air, I noticed that the sound of the waves seemed to echo quite loudly. Now that I think of it, the lake's a lot like the ocean, isn't it? Listen to that whoosh sound.
Except the ocean's so big you can't see the other side. There's some rather large lakes too in it. Good point. In that case, I'm not sure what the difference is.
Supposedly it's determined by depth, but I seem to remember there are no strict guidelines. That's weird. Where did that random trivia come from?
You're very knowledgeable, aren't you? That's our Poppet. It's like the cooking thing all over again. Though your memories are gone, it seems you still have the same knowledge.
I guess so. So, I still want to know if I've taken over this clone's body, or if there's two versions of me around in this world somehow. After that, we walked around town some more, and by the time we returned to the cafe, the sun was setting.
Oh, I'm beat.
Guys, thank you so much for walking around with me today.
Of course. You're welcome.
As we chatted outside the cafe, Cinderella came running up to us. Literally running. There you are! Eureka! What are you... Wait. What are you doing with her, Limey? Shoulders heaving, he pointed his finger directly in Kaguya's face. You too. Abruptly switching into villain mode, Kaguya sidled up to me with a leer on his face. Kaguya down. Evil Kagu Bear has come out.
Who? Me? Oh, you know. Yes, that's enough of that, thank you.
Gretel promptly karate chopped Kaguya on the head.
Ouch!
Tears of pain sprang to Kaguya's eyes. Thank you, Gretel. Cinderella gazed at Gretel, awestruck. Then Gretel held out his hand.
That will be $30.
What?
To pay for the soft serve, gelato, and sherbet we had today. Arisu didn't have any money on her, so I had to pay.
Oh, that's right. I wanted to treat us, but then I realized I didn't have my wallet, so Gretel paid instead. So that's what he meant by itemized invoice. $30, huh? Cinderella pulled his wallet from his pocket and counted out 3 bills. Take it.
Thank you very much. Very well. As an added bonus, I'll get this limey out of here.
Once he got his money, Gretel grinned and grabbed Kaguya by the scruff of the neck. My moon boy does not deserve this treatment.
Come along, servant. It's time to take out the trash. Don't you reckon your brothers are a bit harsh with me?
A bit. As the two retreated into the distance, I looked back at Cinderella. He stared down at his wallet and murmured to himself. Ugh, $30. Then again, if it only costs $30 to keep Eureka safe, then I guess it's a good deal. I'm sorry. He paid for both of us, so... My voice snapped him back to his senses, and he looked up. No, don't sweat it. $30 is practically nothing. It's nothing. Hey, come on. $30 is $30. So how'd it go? Snow told me you guys walked around town to try to get your memories back. Yeah. Did it work? Well... I fell silent. He quickly took the hint. Don't worry about it. You'll remember sooner or later. He stroked my hair to cheer me up. Did you eat dinner? You must be tired. What do you feel like having? Oh, about that. I was thinking of making something. His eyes widened at my suggestion. Maybe she'll remember something. Here you go. I hope you like it. I set my freshly made stew down on the table. Aw, she made stew the first time she came here. Cinderella froze, staring at the stew. What's wrong? Nothing. I'm just... touched. If the stew made him this happy, then it was all worthwhile. Go on, try some. At my prompting, he picked up his spoon and steered a bite into his mouth. How is it? Do you like it? After an uncomfortable silence, I couldn't stop myself from asking. Eureka. It tastes like you. He looked back at me with teary eyes. Meanwhile, his brothers watched us with disdain. Get out of here.
Why does he make it sound so lewd?
Okay, I am with Gretel on that. I also took that kind of lewdly.
Because he's always a total perv.
Hey! Shut the hell up, both of you! This is a heartwarming moment, so read the goddamn room! For now, I was just relieved that he liked the food. It's a win! Thanks for dinner. It was great.
Yes, thank you very much. The stew was delicious.
I'm glad you liked it. After dinner, I was gathering up the dirty dishes when I locked eyes with Snow White over the top of his book. You sure you don't want anything to eat?
I'm sure.
For some reason, Snow White was the only one who refused to eat. Come to think of it, he hadn't eaten breakfast either. Now I was worried about him.
Don't sweat it, he's always like this.
I see. I thought maybe he had turned his nose up at my cooking, but apparently there was some other reason behind it.
Yes?
Incidentally, Cinderella had polished off Snow White's portion as well as his own. I figured I should make a lot in order to feed all the men of the house, but now we have a ton of leftovers. I peered into the pot on the stove as I spoke.
We can just eat it tomorrow. Stews and curries are meant to last for 2 or 3 days. That's why they're so cost-effective.
I nodded along. Praise be to the versatility of stews. Amen.
Cinderella, you've really started thinking like a poor person, haven't you?
Gretel muttered, rolling his eyes.
Wait a minute. No wonder I thought we were forgetting something. Aren't you going to take some up to Alice?
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
Alice? Hold on a second. Wait, did he give us his name? He may not have given us his name, actually, this time. I don't even know who I'm looking for. Alice? Instantly, I froze. There's someone named Alice living here?
Huh? Oh right, you don't remember. See, he's this nasty little brat.
For every comment you make to him, he'll fire back tenfold. Rude, sarcastic, and stubborn.
Why does that sound familiar?
Like Gretel. That's it. I'm kicking your ass.
Gretel clenched his fist with a dangerous smile. That's not what I meant! Is he a guy my age with blonde hair and blue eyes?
Yep. Dunno what's going on with his hair. Guess it's naturally wavy or something.
You sure we're not talking about Gretel? I'm not blonde, Snow White. Are you flat out dissing me to my face?
Go Snow White! Is this Alice shorter than me?
Maybe? Or about the same height?
For the record, I'm 5'8" and still growing. Don't you dare compare me to that manlet! I didn't say anything.
Manlet? It's him. It's totally him. Please, I need to meet this guy. I've been looking for him. For a moment, Cinderella looked taken aback by my shouting, but then...
Sure. Fine by me.
He shrugged. Oh my gosh, Alice, do you remember? Are you the Alice? Are you connected to all Alices everywhere? Cinderella walked to the door at the end of the hall and knocked lightly.
Hey! Alice! We need to talk!
Why can't you go speak to him yourself?
Something tells me he won't answer the door if it's me. We had all gone upstairs to the second floor, aka the cafe's living quarters. The rest of us were crouched around the corner on the staircase, spying as Cinderella approached the room alone. Sure enough, the occupant of the room showed no signs of appearing.
Hey! I know you're in there! If you don't open this damn door, I'll take it off the hinges!
Having lost patience, Cinderella started banging on the door.
He sounds like a debt collector.
That's a low blow, Snow, and I don't appreciate it right now.
Cinderella, there's only one way to get him out of there.
Food. Gretel and Cinderella exchanged a look, then nodded.
Right.
What were they talking about? As I watched in confusion, Cinderella took a step back, then took a deep breath. Oh right, there was something else. What was it again? And then... That's what it was.
Alice! You freeloading scum! Pay your rent! You deadweight loser!
He screamed at the top of his lungs. We all froze and held our breath. Then, with a click, the door slowly opened. He's coming out!
Shh! Great! Now then, I wanted to tell you...
You bankrupt foot fetish freak! Pay your debt, you deadweight loser!
Foot fetish freak. You know, he's got a point.
You want to call me freeloading scum? You're in the same boat, you hypocrite! The only difference is you have a job!
Yeah, and I'd say that's a pretty big difference.
It's you! Out walked a guy with blonde hair and blue eyes.
Uh-oh. Gah!
The second he saw me, he bolted. Not so fast, punk! Hold it! I lunged at him. As for what happened next...
Gah!
Ah! Sure enough, we hit the floor hard. Ow, 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 ow!
You okay, Eureka?
I could hear Cinderella's concerned tone. Yeah, I'm fine. Despite the nasty fall, it didn't hurt too bad. In fact, there was a lot of cushioning. Huh? Something felt off. And then it hit me.
Can't breathe. And my whole body hurts. And everything's so goddamn heavy. Heavy, I tell you!
I had accidentally landed directly on top of him. Oh, I'm so sorry! Are you okay? Hastily, I moved to get up, but before I could, I found myself staring right into his eyes. Oh. It felt like a scene out of a shoujo manga. Except, you know, gender flipped. Yeah, you're right. It is kind of a little bit. just a wee bit. Thanks for breaking my fall, Alice.
Ow, ow, ow! I hit my head so hard I nearly gave myself amnesia.
It's you.
Ugh!
The moment our eyes met, my heart skipped a beat. That's the look of abject terror. Look at her evil little gremlin grin. What is this? What are you doing, girl?
Gah! He screamed.
Heh heh heh. I have you now, my pretty. I cackled evilly.
That line's so cliché, no one ever says it anymore. All that shoujo manga's rotted your brain. Now get off me! Hurry up! Get out of my sight!
No, I refuse. I stared down at him. Listen, I have a question for you. You're the same guy who was in the darkness with me, aren't you? So your name's Alice? Why are our names so similar? Where are we exactly? One minute I was chasing you and then I passed through the looking glass and wound up here. Not only that, but everyone here seems to know me. They say my name's Eureka Arisu and I have a fiancé. Seriously, what's going on here? Am I really Eureka Arisu? Tell me everything you know.
Quit babbling! I can't answer your questions when you throw them at me all at once. I'm not your divine oracle, okay?
Technically, an oracle is divine by default, so that's kind of a tautology there. Okay, first, is your name Alice? At this, he pursed his lips in defeat.
Yes, that's right. My name is Alice. There's your answer, okay? Now wipe that stupid smirk off your face and get off me before I puke.
I have more questions, and I'm not letting you go until you answer all of them.
So you're using your position of power to take advantage of me. I'm gonna sue you for sexual harassment.
This isn't sexual harassment. I'm not touching you inappropriately. If anything, you're the one who's in a position to cop a feel. This floor pinning scene may seem romantic at first glance, but with my hands occupied, I was actually at a disadvantage.
If I grabbed every nice pair of breasts I came across, I'd be in jail. I'm not some savage who can't control himself.
Ah, but you admit she has some nice breasts. Yeah, there we go. That's my girl. So you admit you think I have a nice rack, pervert.
Don't get full of yourself. Not every guy likes big tits, okay? Some like legs, some like faces, some like certain archetypes. There are lots of fetishes out there.
But you're a boob guy is what you're saying. No one asked you, Gretel. Get... Oh, God. Oh my God, Gretel, you suck.
Well, I like big tits. What if your dear sister was flat-chested? I guess she'd lose her motherly qualities, so that'd reduce her appeal. But, I care more about the sister aspect.
Okay, so sister is greater than big boobs for Gretel. I'll write that down like I care.
I'd settle for flat-chested. See that?
Evidently, Gretel had a sister archetype fetish. You don't say. Well, what kind of girls are you into, Alice? Yes?
I like gloomy crybaby girls who don't have any friends and don't even know how to play pretend.
Aww. He does, though. Huh?
Not that I expect you to understand, since you're the polar opposite in every way.
Thanks, I guess? In other words, he saw me as a strong, smart, cheerful girl with lots of friends? Without my memories, it didn't really ring true.
Incidentally, did you know you've got a guy standing behind you like a deer in headlights while he gets a front row view to you cheating on him?
What? Poor Cinderella. At this, I looked over my shoulder and saw Cinderella gazing at me sadly. Uh-oh.
Cinderella, let's take photos and take her to court. You'll win no problem. And then we'll rake in the cash.
Snow White's got the strats, like, and then we'll be rich. His brothers egged him on gleefully. Cinderella, this isn't what it looks like. I stammered, searching desperately for the words to explain.
Not very convincing when you're literally riding some other guy.
I'm not riding him, I'm just pinning him to the floor. I shouted, louder than I meant to. I'm sorry, I can explain. As a gesture of goodwill, I stood up and the next moment, he was gone.
Ha ha ha! I knew it! You look like a good girl, but you're a goddamn thirsty nympho-slut!
And the nympho-slut makes a return.
Go ahead, Miss Town Bicycle. You keep making your sad excuses. In the meantime, I'm outta here!
Miss Town Bicycle? That is so rude! Hey, wait! Unfortunately, Alice managed to escape. So all we learned from Alice is his name's Alice, and he likes sad girls that don't have any friends and don't know how to play pretend. Good job, everybody. We did it. That's weird. I lost him. I had chased him all the way to the lake, but now he was gone. Defeated, I crouched down on the spot. It was now late at night. Compared to when I visited during the day, it was even more peaceful and quiet. Because of that, the lake's reflection appeared to be a perfect inversion of the world around me. This lake looks just like a mirror. If I reached out to it, I bet I could pass through to the other side. But right as I reached out...
Hey, that's not safe! You could fall, damn it!
Cinderella seized me by the arm. Cinderella! What are you doing here? His shoulders heaved as he answered.
I followed you, obviously.
I didn't realize you were in any shape to give chase.
Yeah, neither did I.
I was referring to the whole deer in headlights thing. In other words, I had abandoned my loving fiancé to run all the way here. I'm sorry, but I really needed to go after Alice. I averted my eyes.
Right. Alice. You sure seem to remember him, don't you?
What? I blinked back at him. Have I met him before?
Of course you have. So you remember who he is, but you don't remember meeting him.
I only remember meeting him in the darkness, before I ever came to this world.
Huh? What darkness?
I can't really explain it. But now I realize that he and I definitely know each other. I just don't remember that I know him. Why couldn't I remember? How could I have forgotten something so important?
Sorry, I don't really follow you.
Right. Of course. An uncomfortable silence hung over us.
I gotta say, you don't really seem like the Eureka I know.
Huh? When I looked up sharply, he smiled softly back at me.
I guess without your memories, you've gone back to the person you were when we first met.
He walked up beside me.
Do you remember this lake? It's where we had our first date. But at the time, I refused to accept that it was a date at all.
In the water's reflection, I could see his self-deprecating smile.
Looking back, I was a real jerk to you a lot of the time. Man, I remember those days. It was only a few months ago, but it feels like years. Come on. Have you really forgotten me? All your feelings. All the things you said back then. Was it all a lie?
I mean, she has amnesia, man. It wasn't a lie. She just can't remember it. His reflection rippled in the wind, and I jerked my gaze back up to him. Cinderella. Have you truly forgotten Cinderella? Who, me? Or... Eureka? Is it one and the same? I mean, I'm real world Eureka. She hasn't forgotten Cinderella. I'm trying to get to Alice's good ending. What am I trying to do? Other than trying to catch him and get answers from him, how exactly am I romancing this boy? Jumping through worlds. Am I just reaffirming my love for everybody? So that he's at peace? I don't know. Well, we just saved. I mean, I have not forgotten Cinderella. He's in my top 3 boys. Right now. I remember you. I remember how I felt and what I said. The promises we made. All of it.
Eureka?
He cocked his head at me in confusion. Wait, what the? I'm sorry. I don't know where that came from. From real me! I'm out here screaming, "Don't hurt my boy, please!"
Have you remembered me?
I thought long and hard, but still couldn't remember anything. I'm sorry. I don't remember.
Right. Well, don't worry about it. You never know when the memories might come back.
He spoke reassuringly. I remember you! Yeah. He was surely in far more pain than I was, and yet my feelings were his first priority. Even without my memories, I could tell just how much he cared for her.
There's no rush. Just take your time and...
Cinderella? You're my fiancé, right?
Yeah. And?
If I never get my memories back...
If you don't get him back, then I guess we'll probably have to call off the engagement.
When I fell silent, he continued in a tone of forced cheer.
But don't get the wrong idea. I still love you. Hell, I'd marry you this second if I could. But you don't love me, right?
Well...
It's all right. I don't expect you to love me without your memories. That was our whole history, you know. I'm a hopeless romantic. I only want to marry a girl I'm madly in love with. And I want her to feel the same way about me. There's no law that says we gotta get married. It's not too late to change our minds. And if you'd prefer to move out, that's fine too.
You're willing to end the relationship, even though you love me? I gazed at him in mild amazement.
If that's what makes you happy, then yeah.
I wasn't sure what to say, so I fell silent. Then he nervously ran a hand through his hair.
I mean, I make it sound like I'm tough stuff, but I admit I do want you to remember. And if you never do, then I want to put glass slippers on you all over again. I want to be your prince.
Oh, Cinderella. I'm truly lucky to have someone like you in my life. It was my honest opinion. He chuckled.
I know, right? Anyway, it's getting cold. It's almost bedtime, too. Let's go home for tonight.
With that, he held out his hand. Okay. But the moment I reached out... Whoa! My legs buckled and the world flipped upside down. To Red's world we go?
Eureka!